Welcome to Micro Terrors. Scary stories for kids, where it's always the spooky season, full of chills, thrills, and spine-tingling spooks. Micro Terrors are family-friendly frights for those ages 8 and up. And while our stories are for younger ears, we are still talking about things that go bump in the night, and some children may not be able to handle what others can. Parental consent is recommended. Now, for tonight's Micro Terror.
Oven Roasted by Scott Donnelly. The table was set. The fixins were displayed in fancy bowls and plates. The aromas swirling throughout the house were comforting, enticing, and mouthwatering. This was going to be a Thanksgiving dinner to remember. 12-year-old Jason Ross and the entire Ross clan had gathered at their family home in upstate New York. Jason had been patient, waiting all day for this moment. Dinner time. He'd shown patience while his father, uncles, and grandfathers watched football. He'd shown resilience while his mother, aunts, and grandmothers worked tirelessly in the kitchen before attacking the football-watching couch potatoes for not helping enough. That's when it all came together, when they all worked as one, all with one goal in mind – Thanksgiving dinner. Jason's Thanksgiving dinner. Jason looked forward to the meal each and every year. He craved the crisp turkey, the stuffing, the cranberries and potatoes, the gravy over everything, and the wine. Okay, well, not actual wine, but just some sparkling grape juice. And now, with his stomach growling intensely, it was just about time. Everyone had gathered around the table – his parents, aunts and uncles, grandparents, cousins. The feast was imminent. But as Jason looked around the table, he noticed something was wrong. Something was missing. Something huge. The main course, the Papa entree. "Where's the turkey?" Jason panicked. His Aunt Iris turned to him. "Just about done," she said with a smile. "It's taking a little longer for some reason." Jason looked around as everyone was starting to scoop mashed potatoes and stuffing onto their plates. He nervously rolled his tongue around in his cheek and stood up. "No, this isn't right! We need to wait! We need to wait on the turkey! That's the main attraction! The meal!" "Aunt Iris said the turkey'll be done soon, Jason," Uncle Fred said with a chuckle. "Give it time." "I've given it all day," Jason said, tossing his napkin down to the table and standing up. "I'll go check on it." As Jason scurried out of the living room, his Aunt Iris hurried behind him. Jason crashed through the door that led into the kitchen. The aroma was good. The heat seemed to indicate the turkey was still cooking, so that was reassuring. "Why is it taking so long?" Jason said, kneeling down by the stove and trying to look through the glass. Iris hurried up behind him and put a hand on his shoulder. "Come on," she said. "Let's get back out there. I'll check on the turkey again in a few minutes. We can start eating the other things first." "No!" Jason said. "We need the turkey! We can't have Thanksgiving dinner without turkey!" Jason grabbed the oven door handle and opened it. Smoke and heat rushed out. When it subsided, Jason squinted inside only to see an empty foil roaster filled with boiling grease. Jason backed away and looked at Iris. "Hey, what's the big idea?" he aggressively questioned his aunt. Iris couldn't believe her eyes either. She knelt down and looked in. Where's the turkey?" She was just as baffled. Jason was irate and ready to sound the alarm to the entire family. However, behind him, a cabinet above the countertop began to creak open. Jason heard it and spun around. Standing there before the plates and bowls in the cabinet was the raw, uncooked turkey wielding a baster full of grease and wearing white frilled booties. Without warning, it flew out of the cabinet as if pulled by an invisible string, echoes of spectral turkey gobbles rolling in the air. Jason screamed and ducked. Iris turned around just in time for the wet, raw turkey to slap against her exposed face. She screamed as she was taken to the ground and doused with grease. Jason ran out of the kitchen as fast as he could and into the dining room. He came to a stop at the head of the table where his dad was. His dad turned and smiled. "Is the turkey done?" he asked Jason. A gobble erupted. "No, but you are," the turkey spectrally conveyed. Popping up over Jason's shoulder was the turkey. It smacked its naked, raw wings around his face and forced him to the ground. "Thanksgiving is canceled," the uncooked turkey gobbled. Uncle Fred was next. His face was shoved into the potatoes. Panic erupted at the table. The cousins all tried to flee, but the turkey wasn't having any of it. It force-fed all the cousins green olives with the red thing still inside until they cried. The grandparents were too slow to retreat and suffered greatly for it. The uncooked turkey smeared stuffing in the grandmother's hair and used a knife to cut the grandfather's suspenders, allowing for their loose pants to come crashing to the floor in heaping piles of corduroy and dust. The turkey then turned its attention to Jason's mother. It hopped onto the table and ran the length of it, charging straight for her. All she could do was scream, but as the glasses of wine and grape sparkling juice were all knocked to the side and spilt, Jason's dad leaped into action. He jumped across the table and tackled the turkey, crashing through the window and out into the snowy yard. Jason's dad climbed to his knees and began to punch the turkey repeatedly, tenderizing the stuffing right out of him. The turkey was able to get one good kick in with his frilled, booty-covered leg and got Jason's dad right in the stomach. He grabbed himself and stumbled backwards as the turkey managed to get to its feet. It stood there in the falling snow for a moment, the turkey and Jason's dad having a classic Thanksgiving Day standoff. And then, just as quickly and bizarrely as it all cropped up, it ended. The turkey turned and ran off into the wilderness, its spectral gobbling fading out as Jason's dad lost sight of it. The table had been set. The fixins had been displayed in fancy bowls and plates. The aromas swirling throughout the house had been comforting, enticing, and mouthwatering. And for Jason and his family, this would be a Thanksgiving dinner they'd remember.
Thank you for listening to Micro Terrors. Join us each Saturday for another scary story. For more fun, visit our website at microterrors.com, where you can get the latest Micro Terrors news, read fun facts about each story, sign up for our monthly newsletter, and even send in your own scary story for us to tell. Plus, you can become one of the terrified by joining the fan club at microterrors.com to enjoy exclusive perks like reading stories a week early, receiving complimentary books, and communicating directly with Micro Terrors writer and creator Scott Donnelly. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram using the handle @MicroTerrors. I hope you'll join us again soon for Micro Terrors, scary stories for kids.